Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Lately, I've been hearing all kind of bad news, economic bad news, coming from the biggest economies on this planet. Japan is going bad, Great Britain is going bad, Italy is going bad, Germany is going bad, France is going bad, US is going bad. But I haven't heard one country going bad, the one that actually all these countries worked together to have its economy collapsed, and that is the economy of the Russian Federation. Somehow I don't hear any news that the Russian Federation's economy collapses or has a deficit, budgetary deficit. On the contrary, its economy is growing, is developing, is having a plus, it's going to have it's going to be improving from whatever had last year or the year before. But not the same thing I can say about Germany. And in this case, we have the United Kingdom, who likely is going into recession. Is that a coincidence? All these countries tried to affect Russia economically with sanctions, thinking that they are the important ones. Not Russia, they are. They are the important ones, and if they don't talk to Russia, Russia will cry. And nothing happened to Russia. So these narcissistic countries, with their leaders, narcissistic leaders, thought in their heads that once they're going to slap Russia with the first round of sanctions, I'm talking about the ones implemented after February 24th, 2022, Russia will collapse. The ruble will dissipate. The Russians will take their pitchforks and torches and go to the Kremlin and get it the old ways. But it didn't happen. It might happen somewhere else, but not there. Way to the west. Way to the west. And these guys shot themselves in the foot and continue to shoot themselves in the foot. And the population is told that it's because of the boogeyman, Putin. I mean, we're told that the Western societies are sophisticated and are free thinker, and the education, knowledge, and access to information. Then how come you're such ships? Or ship? I mean, bah, that's what I mean. Let me show you two articles here. One, to build trust, comes from BBC, which is lying as any other one, a little bit more sophisticated because he speaks like this, and all of a sudden people say they are a little bit more, show nobility. Bullshit. And the other ones come from the Ruskies. Davai, let's go now. Now, obviously, BBC is a trustworthy news outlet. Is not government owned. Is not. It's private, okay? Unlike Russia Today, which is government Russian owned. Putin owns it. He's got the ownership papers. UK at risk of recession after economy shrinks. December 22nd, this is 2023. Now you look at this, you know, look at this, people like you and I who know something about life, looking at that picture, who's supposedly in the manufacturing sector, All right, let's move on. A picture speaks 1,000 words. The UK is at risk of recession after revised figures show the economy shrank between July and September. Gross domestic product, which measures the health of the economy, contracted by 0.1% after previous estimates suggested growth has been flat. Meanwhile, there was zero growth between April and June, after it was first calculated to have risen by 0.2%. Oh, big increase, 0.2. Why is 0.2 no increase? Imagine you get an annual income raise. Your salary is raised with 0.2%. You should speak to your boss. I was about to say something else. A recession is typically defined as when the economy shrinks for 2-3-month periods or quarters in a row. There have been concerns over the UK's weak economic growth for some time, but the country has managed to avoid a recession so far. So barely breathing, barely still having air, and they're happy about it. They're happy about it. Instead of saying, no, you have a growth of 7% this year. No, you're barely, they're happy that they didn't get in a recession yet. Is that a reason for celebration? Your bar is low, Anyway, it says, but he added, regardless of whether there was a small, eeny, meeny, miny, mo time by the toe, the bigger picture was that economists expected economic growth to remain subdued throughout 2024. My friends, you should have 7% economic growth. If you don't have, garbage. Let's go to Russia today and see what these guys are telling us about UK's problems. 23rd of December 2023, UK likely in recession, data says. Revised official statistics show a GDP contraction in the third quarter. Britain's economy unexpectedly contracted in the third quarter of the year, raising the possibility that the country is already in a recession, the latest data shows. And the same thing they tell us here, as they said in the other article, the BBC. So, it said the mid-set of mild recessions might have begun in third quarter. The mild recession, the mini stroke. It's a stroke, but it's a mini stroke. Oh my God. Looking ahead, the latest activity surveys point to weak GDP growth in the fourth quarter too, this guy said. So separate data from the ONS showed the retail sales grew by more than expected last month, with trading boosted by earlier than usual and wider Black Friday discounts. Meanwhile, experts say revised GDP figures could increase the pressure on the Bank of England, prompting it to start cutting rates again. The regulator had earlier projected a 50% chance of a recession in the second half of the year. So your future seems gloomy, and you're celebrating that it's not as gloom as it could be or it might be. No, my friends, don't look at the little glass that's filled a little bit. No, look at what you're missing. Your glass should be full, not half empty. And say, I'm gonna focus on the part where it's filled, not the empty glass. No, I focus on you should not be here. You should not. But you know what's going on? I tell you what's going on. I think that it's a little transfer of wealth between the West to the East. And the people responsible are mainly your elected officials who allowed that to happen. Yes, they allowed the capital to go. Why? Because they did it uncontrolled, unchecked. And the greedy guys said, you know what? For the business, since we don't have countries, capital doesn't have countries. We don't care if China will be rich, and let's say Great Britain is going to become poor. As long as we are in charge over there and we make business, they will need us. So, right? Money is green, they say, right? Regardless who uses them, they don't really care if Great Britain is going to become, poorer. And let's say China is going to be, or let's say Malaysia, or Indonesia, or Bangladesh, or Sri Lanka. Nothing wrong with those countries. I'm just saying they don't care. Do you? Yes, because you say, how did you build your capital? Here. You took it now and you left. And you destroyed us. Now that's treason by my books, or on my books. And that's what's going to happen. You look at this. It's a rebalancing of wealth. It's between countries. And let's say in the West, which were the total superior economically to whomever for I don't know how many hundreds of years, they lose that in the past 30 years. The past 30 years. No more. You want to look at how, let's say, Japan, or let's say Japan had its miracle in the 1970s, but again, with US capital, without it, they would, the same China. Look at China in the 1980s. Look at Dubai. There are pictures over there. Look at Malaysia, Indonesia. Look at whatever, Philippines. Look at, what example should I give you? Countries that nowadays are like South Korea. All these countries challenge the West. They're going to surpass them. Why? Because they have a different culture of that these guys used to have. But these guys became spoiled. Why? Well, they're going to become spoiled as well. Why? Because there's a cycle of a civilization. You become spoiled. And in a family as well. You got the first guy who works like crazy, comes with nothing, works like crazy, gets the family to a certain level. If he's lucky, succeeds financially, right, in a society, and he's going to spoil his kids. His kids will not know life. They will not know, most likely, how money is made. And then when the big guy dies, like Biden, he's going to be the guy with the pipe, whatever. And that guy is going to screw up all the money and all the whatever the first guy did. Why? Because he doesn't know the value. And he's going to give, and he's going to be a very generous person on someone else's sweat. Someone fucked his life for this idiot to destroy everything that guy did. That's the United States of America, that's the Europeans, that's what it is. This is the main attitude. When you see these guys, yeah, give them some money, it's always someone else's money. Or money that they don't see. It's never their money. Never. Like you see here, guys, yeah, let's open borders. Because they don't see anything. Get 5 families and bring them in their apartment or their house, like a professor. A professor, university professor, who promotes open border policy, bring about 10 families from Guatemala with about 30 people, right? And I know, 20 some children for 10 years. And let the professor deal with that directly. I guarantee you, he wants the border sealed with, with super glue, gorilla glue. But no, they're far away. They're insulated. They could be in their, in the ivory tower and tell everybody how bad you are and how, you got their wealth, and they make what, $180,000 a year or something, and their jobs are never threatened. Yeah, they can afford. Yeah, they're gonna have things cheaper. But those guys are going to fight for the jobs that he doesn't have to. So he can afford doing that. Why don't you? I pay taxes. No, how about you get your taxes back, and I'm going to have 10 families coming in your house. 5. It's going to have 5 with about 5 kids each. For 10 years. You can keep your fucking taxes. You can keep, we're going to give you taxes. I guarantee you, having those families in his in his house is going to be like Dead Wish, Charles Bronson movie. You're going to be like that. Why? I would propose this. If I would be a president somewhere or a leader, I would do this. You want it? You do it. I pay taxes. No, I will give you taxes back. Just do it. And you see, they will not accept that. How much money do you think you pay taxes in that? 0.5%? I will give you for 0.5% from your income. And you're going to have 5, people from Guatemala, or maybe some from Mexico, maybe some, who knows? And you love them because you say so. Paraguay, Chile, whomever. You will not. We know that. From Zimbabwe, about 7 families. Why? Because I love people from Zimbabwe, for whatever reason. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So, Great Britain, other countries, how come? I don't know. Russia is not in a recession. Great Britain is. France, always been. And Germany, I just made 2 videos on it, how they are fooled and their economy is in a recession a long time ago. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.